Hey everybody, happy Monday. I am coming to you today to update you on what is happening in the construction world with the neighbors behind. So if you've been following me last week, we talked about how the siding was finally going up, but it was odd because the drywall was complete before the siding was completed. So the siding fully completed yesterday, I believe, when we were looking at the when I was going out to an appointment, which I don't normally work on Sundays, but that's a whole nother issue. That's been very busy, this market. They were finishing up the siding at that house. Currently, right now, there is a concrete truck. I can hear it right from my house. So they're pouring concrete. Likely they're pouring the concrete in the basement and then probably the garage floor, not the driveway. Although it is pretty warm, so I'm not sure if they're doing the driveway. Kind of doubt it though. The driveway is always the last thing to be poured. And you might be surprised that the basement floor hasn't already been done, but they typically leave the basement floor with no concrete for quite some time. They don't actually do it that quickly. So that's the stage they're at now. I'm guessing there's tapers there because if the drywall was done, the taping would be happening. So that's texture as well for the ceiling. Really, once you got the texture on the ceiling, the builders actually know the timeline of possession. It's usually a few months from that point. Seems kind of crazy because might have felt like forever to get to that stage. They're moving pretty quickly. If you've been following me, this house is being done quite fast. So if they're at the taping stage, the next stage is then putting cabinets in and then painting and flooring and all that finishing work, which usually within a month it's done. So I'd say we're going to have neighbors probably by March, April the latest is my guess. So we'll see. So in terms of what is going on in the new build world, we've been actively showing clients houses in both the resale and the new, and the lack of inventory is all across the board. It's not just in the resale, but it's also in new builds. When we ask for quick possession with builders, there's not a whole lot of options out there. And if there are, they usually get snatched up pretty quickly. So you have to be ready mentally to buy and write an offer quite fast. Whether it's in resale or in new. And that's something that's changed a lot in this last year. A year ago, you would have had time to think on properties. Things are starting to move quicker, especially if you really like the property. So last week, we were able to write up 2 properties. One that was a show home that came with all the furniture. So yes, you can buy homes with show homes like furniture and you can just move right in, which is very convenient for some. And then this other one is a quick possession. There's no furniture in there, but it's ready to go so they can move in quickly. The thing that we're seeing a lot is buyers that we're working with want to move in right away. They don't want to wait 6 months or even 3 to 6 months. And in the builder world, 3 to 6 months is still considered quick possession because it takes them about 10 to 12 months to build. So if you're looking to buy a new build and you want to move in less than 10 months, you will be buying some sort of spec home. So they would have already put the house in the ground and maybe there's still the opportunity to do some updates at that stage. Depends on the builder, depends on the house. They may have already firmed up everything, ordered kitchen cabinets. So even though cabinets don't get put in until pretty much month and a half, 2 months before possession, they order them quite early in advance because they take a long time to get. So if you're looking to build and you want to move in by summertime, we're going to need to look at the properties that they already have plans for. So when I ask the builders in terms of what they have coming up, if it's not quick, like right away in the next month or two, the next slot of properties is going to be available in May. So May is going to be pretty busy, I think, for the quick possession world for new builds because it's the prime time, of course, for people to buy. It's very busy right now, but I suspect in a couple months it's going to get more intense in the market. And the land is kind of locked. So I live in Rosenthal, and there's not a whole lot of opportunity to build. There's only a certain selection of land that is available to build on right now. And more land is going to be released in the fall of this year. And you will not get that home until next year. So if you're wanting to build in Rosenthal and you don't want to build in the areas and the lots that are available right now, you're going to have to wait. In some of the other areas, they have been releasing lots, but also very slow. I've noticed it as a trend in terms of how many lots are being released and how much is available. If you want to build on a lot that's available today, it's January, you remove conditions by the end of the month, you still will be moving in probably closer to Christmas. It all depends. So because the market's so busy, the city of Edmonton does have to approve permits for building. not just for decks. So we've seen last summer was so busy, everyone was doing landscaping and deck building. So they're backed up there, and then the building process as well. So the city is going to have more backed up for permits, and they also have released a lot of employees since this whole pandemic started last year. So things are moving a bit slower over there. And so that's going to cause for some delays on the building side. So if you have questions in terms of, I want to move into a new home this year, I can show you kind of the opportunities that are available to you. And we're talking suburbs. If you're looking at infill properties, you need to basically look at something that's already in construction or built, unless you're actually wanting to buy a house and rip it apart and then build. That process is going to be much longer, and I would bank at least a year, if not longer, because we got to find you that lot, which is already kind of hard and challenging to find because there's so little inventory available. So I hope that this information helped, and we'll talk to you guys next week.